This video will be a little challenging because the mobile phone is not holding to anywhere. So I decided to share a topic about will, or something you are eager to and are willing to do everything to achieve this. Maybe opinion type of a will, maybe opinion type based of a will. And so in this video, this information comes from the perspective of duality and from one of those channeling informations about the whole nature or whole life, you might call it. And so uh, when I understood the universe, the matrix, or whatever we call it, in which we are enjoying our lifetimes here, is basically mathematically set up or constructed or built that everything has a balance into life. And it's a really simple yet complex principles. I've been talking about this in the previous videos. So because of this principle, there is a balance into everything. Like I was talking, even the earth has one-sided light and one-sided of darkness, because the sun is shining only from the one of these sides. Like the same as applies to the moon, the same actually applies to everything. When the sun is shining on a tree, half of the tree is lighted and half of the tree is darkened. And it's not because of the sun is standing there, it's because of the construct of the universe, or this galaxy, or reality of this, or the matrix of this. You call it what you win, call it as you wish. Always there will be duality. There will always be duality. So it applies to everything. And yet in this topic I wanted to talk about it's somehow universe. If there is a positive side of something, universe will create a negative side of that something. He will find the way to achieve this negative side. He will find a way to accomplish this negative side. So basically it's not about something creates a negative side. It's somebody is guided to have that, or to be in that negative side. Yes, hi. So I was talking to one friend just maybe a couple of days ago, and I said, well, you can imagine like this, that there are so many possible roles that we can play in this lifetimes, like a personality that we can be and experience our lifetimes in here. So there are so many possible roles that we can experience, and there has to be a soul, or there has to be somebody willing to have this experience, or somebody that needs to have this experience, or somebody that needs to be in that experience in order to create balance. So, and now when we talk about the wills or egos, or how you call it, intentions, like I want to achieve something in my life, you are creating a will of success. Therefore you have to have a balance of not success. So the more will you create to attain that success, the more stepping stones you create in order to be balanced between success and unsuccessful. And all of these ideas come, so many of these ideas have spiritual teachers have been talking about, modern age, ancient age, that to be in a balance between everything, to be an observer between everything. So actually that's what we are. But once we create this ego, this egoistic idea, I want to achieve that something, we create opposite of that something. So the more we want to, like by our head, go and achieve and create, the more obstacles we actually create. Thus to have only this balance between good or bad. So, and when I watched, after this channeling information was like maybe half a year ago, I watched kids. My brother has two kids, and they are like playing this duality. So I want to share an example. So for example, kids are playing with something, maybe with cars, maybe with toys, it doesn't matter. They're playing with some kind of a toy. And the brother is telling, there's a sister and a brother, a small sister and brother. The brother is telling, no, please give me this, Barbie or whatever, a toy. Please give me that toy. And the sister gives him that toy. But the sister instantly starts feeling, why should I give him something? Why should I give him something? Well, she gives. And the next time he asks, please give me that, she's telling him, And this is one of the things how the universe balances itself, like subconsciously or unconsciously. I don't know how you want to call it, but how should I call it? I don't know. But there is a balance between asking and receiving, and a balance between giving and getting. There has to be a balance. It doesn't. Once there's some kind of outbalance happening, because maybe you are asking 3 times, ask more and more for something, there's like a counter to it. You have received 5 times, you have given 3 times. So basically, that from who you ask will start feeling resistance as I don't want to give actually to you. I don't want to give actually to you. So there is a balance between giving and getting. So basically, if you're only taking and taking and taking from somebody, universe will find a way that somebody will start taking from you. So basically, it's also said that many times, like especially in our Latvian ancestors, these quotes or aphorisms about life, is that giver takes. I don't know how it's in English, but the idea is that from this aphorism is that if you take from somebody, that somebody will take from you backwards again. So it was like something giver takes, taker takes, or something like this. It was a nice aphorism. It still is. But if we start looking from it from multiple angles and from multiple perspectives, it all makes sense that basically if somebody is telling that this is a dual world, I will completely agree that this is a complete dualism here. It's a complete dualism. But from the channeling perspective, and it applies everywhere. It is applied completely everywhere. It's applied completely everywhere. I was like thinking about businesses. Normally, a business earns as much as it spends. So basically, a normal business isn't profitable, and normally it shouldn't be. And then we were thinking, but what about like a big banks or rich people or something? The only way how rich people can become rich is if they start printing money. That's the only way that it could happen. They print more. And when we are talking about the other things, what is like from the rules of perspectives, the other things about, I don't think businesses, I don't think about businesses. I just think about how you can see it in multiple areas of our lives here. So basically, I was thinking about, well, for example, shops and stores. You can call it businesses if you wish. I was thinking about this from multiple perspectives. From another perspective of businesses, how and should they work, is if, for example, like Amazon or eBay or something like this, they don't deal with predicting like which of the, anyway, they just take commission. They take commission of everything that is sold or everything that is bought. They take commission. It's like the simple words, like taxes. They can take commissions. And when we are also talking about the perspective of energy, like electricity, like something, it's also, I think, like things that work, that can be worked aside duality. And those are things as taking commission from something. For example, electricity. Electricity is being taken as a commission of, for example, these hydro dams, or wind generators, or wave generators. I don't know, wave generators are technically forbidden, but they're technically one of the most powerful things. So when you start taking commissions, for example, from energy, it's a commission from like hydrogens. It's a commission between the difference between the height and the length, the lowest point, and the generators start moving, and they create magnetical waves, and the energy from these waves are then you're taking commission from hydrogens. Waves like. In ocean, the waves go up and down. Just take commission, and when you start taking this commission, when you start taking commission from wind, from waves, from hydrogens, from these levels, you are actually starting to create a balance. When you take from the ocean waves, wave goes up, the energy is trying to put it down, just to squeeze the wave down, thus for creating energy from the lift. So you are creating balance into, let's say, the panic of the ocean. You're starting to make you're starting to take this energy from it and use it differently, but you're reducing the panic in the ocean or the storm. You're reducing the storm. The humans, if they start using, they're reducing the storm. So in every way, in all sense, if there is a panic in somewhere, for example, people start to decide that they want to start buying salt or sugar because of the COVID or something. It's an energy that can be taken away. It's an energy that can be taken in a different way. It's a huge wave. The energy can be taken away and used in some way form, but yet it also creates balance. It also starts creating balance in the panic. Let's say create it back. So when you start thinking about these things, they are only in terms of the balance energy. Also, I want to end this sentence with no energy can ever be created, and thus no energy can ever be destroyed, because there is a balance. And this, it also applies that knowing these principles of duality, that there will never be a free energy. There will never be a free energy generator. It can only be harnessed from something that is out of balance. It can only be harnessed from something that is tremendously wavely, whatever you call it. Okay. So there will never ever there will be a free energy. Energy will only and could only be taken from something. It can only be gathered from something, taken from something. So you need to have that something from which you could take energy. May it be a different reality, may it be a different energy form that we are yet not understood and not known, but still it can be taken. So does it, if we are talking about energy, about how we can get free energy, is definitely when there is wind, when there is storm, when there is I don't know how you call it, this ocean waves, we can definitely take a tremendous amount of energy there. And if we are talking about now again about this will, I don't know, because I know that so many people are not aware of these duality perspectives or these duality concepts. We born naked without anything, we die naked without anything. Everything returns to originated state. Everything returns back to its original state. That's also a principle of duality. So when we start something, it explodes into a creation and returns back to its starting originated point, thus having a complete circle. We had our ups and downs, we had our ups, we had our downs, and then we return back to ourselves, to our state from which we started. So there's also a sentence that everything has a beginning, everything also has an end. And it's the way of this duality, it's the way of keeping the balance between birth and death. So basically from that channeling information, this duality perspective was that it's the way of universe attaining and containing, ever unfolding and ever creating life, life force, like ever creating and ever expanding, um, so that there is no only good, that there is no only bad, thus then a creation cannot happen. So basically, imagine if there is only positive things, like a creation, let's say a creation is a positive thing, like building and constructing, then after a while everything will be already built and there will be no room for nothing. So a dark side of that will be death or destruction. So a death and destruction means that everything that has created will be destroyed sooner or later. That's all. And create a space for a new creation, so a creation can unfold again, so the creation can be again. It's a technical construction of the universe. So there's a huge point of duality. There's a huge point of duality. It's not an accident. It's not a mistake. It's not something. Accident and a mistake is when a human starts accepting it, whether to be good or whether to be bad. That's the only mistake that humans start doing. The only mistake what humans start doing is when they start fighting for something, but that's again a part of duality. But you have to understand, or I think how I started or beginning to understand this is the only way or the only positive thing about this will, or about this eager or this egoistic based of thinking, the only way for you is to be in the neutral side. Just understand, everything will be solved by itself. Everything will end good by itself. Of course there are troubles going on, of course there are sometimes really good things going on, but you have to understand that this is life, this is how it is, this is how it's supposed to be, that there is balance between, you can ask random questions. It's a way of how it is, it's a way of how this universe is built. It serves for good, and it serves for good, and yet there is no good or bad, there is only the opposite side, so that there can be a balance. So basically, if somebody is so tremendously good, like positive, like he will have an opposite side, whether in relationships, whether it's a family, whether it's people in work, he will have an opposite negative side. So basically, you can look into this from multiple angles. There will be always a negative side. There will be always a negative side. There will be always an opposite side, right? That's the truth. When I start sniffing, I know that that's the truth. Actually, I want to tell another funny adventure. You call it a situation. I was doing a conference. There was maybe, it was like a couple of years ago. There were maybe 150, 200 people in the conference. There was like an audience of people. There were different other people also presenting some things, and I was presenting about channeling, about beings, about how to receive information, and how do you know that beings are actually communicating with you. I was sharing about this information, so no big deal. And then I was like talking, you can basically ask any type of question and you will receive an answer in any other way, but you will receive the answer. And all of a sudden while I'm talking, I noticed a button right there on the table. It was like a desk with several buttons. Nobody sees it, I only see it, because I'm sitting in front of a large desk like university, some kind of audience. And I was looking at the button, and I was like, man, I want to press that button. I was like, man, I really want to press that button. And I'm like sticking, it's like, okay, everybody, I want to press this button. I don't know what it does, I want to press that button. And once I press that button, the lights shut down in the audience completely. Like everything is dark, pitch dark, no windows and nothing, everything is a complete darkness. And I started to laugh. Okay, this is funny. And then I turned it back on. And what happened after that talk? A young guy comes to me. He was 70, 80 years. And he's like, I'm blown away. I said, what? Of course, there were people happy about this, and there were people not happy about that what I did. But that's the balance, and uh, and he's so mind blown. He's like mind blown away. I was like, what happened? And he's telling that, and he's like shocked. He said he feels a spirit guide from time to time, but at this while I was talking about the communication, he decided, okay, if there is his spirit guides hearing him right now, may you please do something totally out of the box. And he said, well, okay, so can you just do something unimaginable? Just turn off the lights in this audience. and and at that instance, like maybe 2 or 3 seconds later, all lights turned dark. And he was like completely blown away. He was like, okay, I have no more doubts about it. So that was a funny thing. I just remembered it. And that was a funny thing. And he was like, I have no complete doubts about anything of this anymore. And about duality, about this eager, about this will or agenda, maybe I call it. Every agenda that you will receive, for example, let's talk about companies like businesses. Businesses try to create an agenda. For example, it can be applied in any fields. Like a wife wants to agenda that their kids are the smartest in class, or a family, or a father, whatever. And that's when you start creating this agenda. Opposite obstacles are created. Like the kid doesn't want it. The kid doesn't want it, or some obstacles of failure start to happen. You want to be certainly on time at that meeting, and everything starts breaking down. Everything starts breaking down. Car breaks down. Everything is misguided. Everything, traffic jams and everything. Just out of nowhere, something that happens. So I just wanted to tell that the stronger we create agenda, the stronger we create will, the stronger we create what we want. Like from the egoistic perspective, the greater obstacles we start creating to ourselves, thus balancing us with the good and bad. So basically, there will be agendas that you will fulfill, but you will not fulfill all of those agendas. And the more you are starting to attain for these agendas, go after these agendas, the more obstacles actually are being created. The more obstacles are being created. And when you look about also what does actually work in businesses or in life, is like taking energy from something, some movement. For example, people drive with cars. They want to move. Put put fuel prices to it. So it costs to drive, so that people don't drive everywhere non-stoply. They have a balance between driving somewhere and don't drive anywhere. People want to spend. Put a limiter. Put something that is attained with money. You don't want to buy everything. It's always there will be a limitation. There is always will be an opposite side. There is to be in a balance. To just stay in the duality balance of it. So there's a balance between things you can afford and not afford. There's a balance between everything, and I mean not like balance, opposite side of everything. So, and there will be times when it's good, and there will be times when it's bad. Live out these times because you know it will start turning good again, because it's the way of the balance. Okay, so I think I explained this. I wanna answer the questions. Okay, hi, can I answer random questions? Yes, you can. Did you ever look into Nikola Tesla? Maybe you channel him at some time. Yes, I have channeled information about Nikola Tesla at some time. Some yo-yo is saying simply said and very clear. Thank you, Matt, for being hard. Yes, thank you also for listening to this. And I many times have said that. I want to tell another story. Many times I've said that channeling is really, really has cleared my mind and focused my mind on simple things, and yet have this understanding about how life and what life actually is compared to what I have been had since maybe childhood. So basically, channeling has completely changed my life to a completely different perspective. Maybe not life that much as thinking that much. So you look at things maybe from a wider or a wiser perspective, other than looking from how is it told, how you doubt yourself to be. I think because of these new times, new age times of these technologies, and because we are so many in population, you become more aware of duality. Maybe in ancient ages, maybe in ancient times, you were not aware of that because there were not so many things going on. Not so many things going on because, mm, uh, anyway. I wanted to talk about. I wanted to share about a story which I already forgot. So, so sorry. I started thinking about that I should go and eat something. Yeah, I wanted to talk also about the duality. So this also was from one channeling, and there basically wars and fights happen only because there are strong opposite thinking waves, thinking patterns like Hinduism, Christianity, and blah 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 blah. There is a huge gap between these dual sides, opposite sides, like called like this. So to have a war or to have some kind of a fight, you need to have a strong opposite sides. Balance would be acceptance about the others, and this is one time in channeling. Now I can explain it why it is, but this is one time in channeling. Somebody asked Enrico when there will be peace in life, and they replied that only peace will be when there will be this um, ideology. Uh, this ideology will be stopped. So therefore, humans create ideology about music. When I was young, there were people fighting out, "Oh, you listen to the wrong music, blah 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 blah." Wrong religion, wrong force, wrong side of the country, or the opposite country, or enemy. When there is a strong opposite duality created, opposite side created, these dual sides will meet. And the fight itself, from the duality perspective, is deciding whether it's one or the other. So what happens is, at some point, one will win. At some point, the other will win. There will never be a total victory, and there will never be a total loss. There will never ever be it. So a fight or a war or an argument or this argues happen only when there is a strong opposite side, a will or agenda or an opinion, that there is a strong opposite side. So a duality then must take a form from one to the other, from one to the other, and thus then a fight has to happen. Because people are so agendized and they're so in their will that they will not just accept the other side. They want to fight for it. They don't want to let go of this. They don't want to allow change to happen. They don't want to accept change to happen. They start fighting. So then you have to understand that wars and fights they will not be fulfilled. They will not be solved. They will not be, it will be only one wins or the other wins, but the universe will keep the balance itself. It will keep the balance. It doesn't matter what will happen, it will keep the balance. So basically, one wins, the other wins, one wins, the other wins, one wins, the other wins, one wins, the other wins. Basically, for example, if you look at wars, uh, the stronger opposite side of people will die out eventually until there is only, like, again, harmony left. So I don't know if I managed to explain it to you, but basically wars or argues will stop when we realize that we cannot create our wills, that we basically, you will understand that we are only playing out the roles how the universe works. We are only the cards played out. Our life is basically the things that we live through. Basically, our cause is, let's say, our now happening creates balance into something. So whatever we just are doing, for example, like I'm speaking, it creates a balance to some kind of the opposite side. So basically telling we don't have a choice. We are just fulfilling the ever unfolding or rotating duality. If if egoistic mind is creating some kind of opposite side, thus then an opposite side shall and will be created of something. So we are just humans living out roles, and once we understand that, and once we don't create panic to it, universe will find balance. It will attain a smaller and smaller panic, a smaller fights between everything, and thus then return to the place of complete peace, complete peace. So basically, what I was like thinking about is also that the peace itself, or the lovingness or the absolute presence of life, like the planet or the heaven you want to call it, is a place where there are no opinions, is a place where every thought is destroyed, or every thought is ignored. Every egoistic thought, every egoistic I want to achieve this is stopped. Because every thought from the mind creates this balance. Every fear, like I'm not worthy, I want to go and achieve something, creates this balance. So the only thing how we can save balance and be in balance is by just allowing the life to be as it is. The life will find balance for you. The life will create balance for you. The life will be into balance of everything. And when I'm talking about manifestations, when I'm thinking about manifestations, like manifesting your life, creating the things you wish in your life, you just create a wish. I wish for a better or a good change in my life. I wish for the absolute best to happen in my life, or your lives as well. So when you wish for it, or when you wish for that, universe will find it to happen in the best and harmonious way for you. Sooner or later it will happen. Sooner or later it will happen. So I think the life itself is a really amazement, is a really unique and amazing project. It's the life itself is a unique and amazing project, and we here have came to experience complete complete everything nonsense, like random occurrences. Everything is completely out of any shape or form of conscious or harmony. It's like, then there is sun, then there is wind, then there is rain, then there is storm, then there is peaceful time, there is joyful time, then there is winter, then there is there's like changes. People are running, screaming, people are doing nothing, people are fighting, people are warring, people are doing nothing. Everything is a complete randomness. People want new cars, people want to sell cars, and everything is a complete nonsense, let's say like this. Everything is a complete madness. And it creates a complete and so many random things, and yet it's fun because it doesn't happen anywhere else. So from this amazement, this duality is like crazy. It's like crazy, and yet it's also exciting. Okay, so there were some questions, I think. Do you have ever heard given a thought to Nikola Tesla's statement of, if you only have the magnificent of if you have only the magnificence of 369, you have the key to universe. Do you have some thoughts about this subject? Integration needed. Integration. No, about the 369. I don't know. I don't ask. Um, you have to check my other videos about the Tesla and Tesla ideas. I have these videos in my channel. Just search for them. And I remember what I wanted to talk. Uh, Now, Enrico, these ideas was presenting to us long ago, but I didn't understand. People didn't understand. People want to ask what will happen tomorrow, what will happen tomorrow? Should I buy a new car? Should I sell my house? And etc. 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 The thing is, life is not predictable. It's not. It's the only thing which you can predict is that now, if it's very very bad, there will be times of very very good. And the opposite. If it's very, very good right now, there will be times of very, very bad. So you can predict that sooner or later the life will turn to its opposite side, sooner or later. That's the only thing that you can predict. So, and if it has been peaceful, really long, so there will be occurrings like madness. Like I mean like peaceful from no activity to huge activity. Though it will be a balance to this also. So that's the thing only is what you could predict, but you cannot predict whether tomorrow it will be good or bad. I don't know. You cannot predict it. Basically, you can. Life is not predictable. So, and there, to understand this thing a little bit more, search online for uh, uh, the answer to all. My friend yesterday told me, and we were talking about numbers, and he said, "Well, the answer to all is 42." So there are these movie clips you can Google online, YouTube online also. The answer to all is 42. So the video material was like people come, they have built a supercomputer that can calculate every answer to universe and to life, everything. It can answer to it. And these people have now turned on this computer, and this computer is turned on, and people are like the huge fields of people, and people want to ask, what is the answer to life? What is what is life itself? And the computer imagined in this place Enrico, a being from absolute presence, the absolute excitement, the absolute higher realities, or whatever you want to call it. And he's like, oh, hello, everybody. And they're like, oh, a higher spiritual being, what is the answer to the life itself? And the being is looking at those, let's say, mentally uh, degraded, mindly frustrated, egoistic oriented, selfish, working, and how they call it. People are basically a digging society. They don't do things the easy way. They do things the hard way. They're not going to their goals, but they're digging their way to the goal. And this supercomputer tells these people in the movie clip, well, of course I can tell you the answer, but you will not like it. And the people are, oh, why would we not like it? No, please, just tell us. And I said, well, okay, the answer to everything, the all secrets of life, the meaning of the life is 42. And the people are like, what the heck? What the heck? Like, what was that? And they're like, 42? What kind of answer is that? And I said, well, I told you will not like it, but that's the answer. And they're like, what the hell? Like, what the hell? And that's what Enrico was telling. Well, how and what should I do? Well, and the answer to Enrico's answer would be, well, you definitely will not want to like this. It's not, and the answer is, from the way of Enrico, the answer is that what will happen tomorrow, and it's not even necessary to know what will happen tomorrow, or maybe after 20 or 30 years. Maybe there will be something good that will happen. Maybe there will something bad happen. But the point is that you are the one that creates the perception of whether it's good or bad. All things are good. So the only thing is what you can do is enjoy life without judgment, whether it's good or bad. Just enjoy it. So that's the answer to life. But sometimes people, no, 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 I want to know about coronavirus, how will it affect, how will it end out, how will it do. There will be always a corona. There will be always some kind of a madness. There will be, and there will be created more and more and more of these nonsense. The only thing is whether it helps you or not, whether you enjoy your life more or not. The situation is without any meaning, but you create a meaning. You create the opinion to it. You can create it. And about this duality, don't create and don't have an opinion. Just enjoy it. Enjoy what's happening. So the last question, there was something, if life is predictable if you apply the right numbers to situation. Numbers are universal language, but computers cannot do it because it needs a human action to take place. Well, a prediction, let's try to predict something. Let's think. The more you start working with predictions, the more you realize that it's 50-50. The more you start working with it, the more you realize it's 50-50. The only thing what, let's say, like, let's talk about medicine, for example. Medicine can calculate the prediction of side effects of a certain pill, but do they calculate prediction of to how many people these pills actually work, to how these yeah, you can show us and write in comments something to blow away, but I'm thinking about something to just reduce this idea of predictions, weather forecasting, and etc. and etc. and etc. I think something that can be, in a way, that you could predict something is knowing the matrix itself, how the life is being created. But normal situations, predictance, how you can apply it to normal situation, a prediction is that if that happens, you do this. If that happens, you do this. And then you can avoid and have a plan B, C, D, A, F, G to a certain occurring, and thus then you have a side action to it that then after this you can turn yourself to a positive way. But let's talk about, like, let's say predicting like some kind of a change, let's say a price change to a certain company stock. You start analyzing, you start thinking, you start analyzing, you start thinking, and you start thinking, okay, if everything goes well to this company, the prices will increase, the stock prices will increase for this company, because it have happened historically. But the thing is, there are so many things that can happen that will change your prediction model. Let's say you want to buy Amazon stocks or gold. Let's say you want to buy gold, for example. You would want to know the outcome. You want to know the prediction of what will happen to it. So then maybe you can earn something from it, or maybe just a simple explanation. But you don't know what will happen tomorrow. Corona appeared out of nowhere. Maybe gold prices will drop out of nowhere. Maybe people will decide that gold is not valuable, that there is like other things that become valuable. And you don't know what will happen. You cannot know what will happen tomorrow. And all of a sudden things can just change like this. For example, just money disappears. Money or banking system disappears. It's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. It has a zero value. And when you start thinking about such things, about any predictions, Maybe you can predict a small thing, but life itself isn't meant to be predictable, because when you start and when you can't predict many things, you start creating out of balance, and thus then to have balance, you have to be unpredictable. So basically, life itself is not 100 times predictable. It's 50-50, and that's how it should be. So, okay, I need to go to eat something, but you definitely can share. Oh, yeah, and I want to tell another thing. Just in the shortest days, I will have a new website. I'm working on it. And in the shortest days, like you want to share something, you can go to the website. And I especially created it to be Englishly developed. So after a week, you can definitely go to the website and we can definitely chat and do online channelings there. So stay tuned and and enjoy this amazing random thing that's happening. So you can see right here there are emptiness of cars, and there is a balance because sometimes there are plenty cars here, and now there is emptiness, basically emptiness, and it's a balance again. How to have a balance in such a small field between many cars and less cars, universe needs to have like economical boost and economical drop, and to just this balance is universe will find a way to have balance. And thus then I'm thinking, how can we actually trick the universe to just test out these balanceable and unbalanced things, because it will always find a balance, and it will be really funny to find the ways how we can actually trick it and test it and see how it works. And okay, so so stay tuned for the next videos, and see you guys soon. And about this Tesla videos, watch it. It's in my channel somewhere. Just search Tesla, and you'll see many old videos which I have created from these channelings. So bye bye, and see you guys sometime soon.